welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed a drugstore versus high-end. Before you keep watching, I want you to take a minute and look at the eye look and tell me which one you think's drugstore and which one's high-end. Comment, like, pause the video, comment down below and tell me which one you think. And then at the end, comment again and tell me were you surprised with what you thought was drugstore and which one was high-end. I'm really pleased with how it came out. It was kind of a blending struggle with both, and if you're like a palette freak like me, you're probably looking at this and you kind of probably already know which palettes I duped. So if you want to see which palettes I compared today, then just keep watching. Alright, so to be completely fair to both sides of the palette, I am going to use this, which is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden. This is my favorite primer. It works good with any palette I use. I've repurchased that primer 3 times already. Alrighty, so now that my primer is all blended out, I am not setting it. I never set my primer. I'm going to show you the 2 palettes that I'm going to be comparing. So the drugstore end, which will be this end, is this one right here, and it's the Makeup Revolution palette, and it is, I don't know if it's the name, but it's Reloaded. I think that's the name. But this is the drugstore side, and then the high-end side, I'm going to be using the Subculture palette, and if I'm correct, this palette is $42 and this one was only $7. So if this ends up being an exact dupe, like I've seen videos where they compare like a lot of Makeup Revolution palettes to different palettes, if it ends up being a complete dupe, then yes, it's a save, and that's what we're actually going to find out today. The Makeup Revolution palette doesn't have every single color that the Subculture palette has. So with the colors that they do have similarity in, we're definitely going to use. So definitely this yellow. We're going to try this yellow shimmer shade, probably, or maybe this white, because they are supposed to be the dupes. And then this color to this color. And this one I think to that one, and this one to that one. So we'll see what we come up with today, but we're definitely going to use all of the colors we can to make sure that you're getting your money's worth and it is actually worth saving and just getting this Makeup Revolution palette. So these are the brushes I'm going to use. This is going to be for this side and this is going to be for that side. I tried to match them up as much as I can to each other, and this is the best I could do. They're not all the same. But I'm going to be using different brushes for each side. So I just spent like 5 minutes just staring at both palettes, trying to figure out what look I can create and try and incorporate all the colors. So this might be a complete fail, but we're going to see what eye look we come up with. I'm going to start with my drugstore side, and then I'm going to go to my high-end side. So the first color I'm going to grab is this color right here, and I'm just going to use this I think I bought this brush at Target, but it just looks like this. It's flat. I'm gonna grab this brush and I'm gonna pack that color just right here. I just barely tapped it in, and you can already tell how pigmented that is. So we'll see if it matches up to the Anastasia. And the thing about Anastasia shades is they are very pigmented. They have a lot of fallout. All of their palettes for the most part do, or at least the palettes I have. We're just gonna apply this color right here, and this, remember, this is the drugstore side, and I'm gonna leave it a little messy like this for right now, and I'm gonna go into this palette, which I'm gonna use this green right here, and it's more like a greenish, like green but blue undertone, I guess you could say, and it's Axis, and I'm gonna just pack that on exactly how I did this side. No. You can see how they're pretty much exactly the same. I would say this side has a little more pigment, and that's where you're spending your money, paying for that type of pigment. I honestly feel like, yes, you're paying for that automatic pigment. I feel like if you just pack on more color and you take more time on this side, you will end up with something similar. Honestly, I feel like I like this side a little more because it's just more deeper. This one is more, I guess the word I'd use is more ashy, because this one's just more vibrant, if you could tell. But so far, that's it. I tried to build that color up, but I can't seem to build it up to this intensity. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and use this lighter green. I'm probably going to use that too, but I want to go in first with this one and try and just gently blend this out. Brush I'm using is just an e.l.f. blending brush. This is a good palette to compare because there was a lot of rumors about the Subculture palette not being an easy palette to blend out and the colors being a little funky. So I guess another thing we're gonna check out is see if this palette blends out better than the Subculture palette. I'm gonna go in with this color right here, which is called Untamed, and I'm gonna do the same thing on that side. So far, the main difference I find between the two palettes is this one has more fallout, a lot more fallout. Yes, this one has fallout, you could see, but this one has a lot more fallout. Something weird is kind of happening. This side, this green isn't really doing much to blend this color out. You can see on this side that green really blended it out, and I'm kind of having some trouble. And that's hard. That's like the hard part of, like, yes, you want your eyeshadows pigmented, but sometimes they're way too pigmented and it's hard to actually blend them out. So I'm just gonna keep blending and see where I can get. So far, I'm liking the Drugstore side of this shade because it was a lot easier to blend out. So honestly, this was the best I can get it to blend out. It doesn't look terrible, and we're still gonna go in with more colors. But so far that's what those two shades look like. This side looks deeper, this side looks deeper, but it was harder to blend out, and this side is more like an ashy tone blue, but it was a lot easier to try and blend that out. The next color I'm going to go in with on the Drugstore side is going to be this yellow right here. I'm going to just try and blend everything out with this yellow and see what happens. The yellow, so yellows are kind of hard to work with. Drugstore yellows aren't the easiest color to pick up on your eyelids. Sometimes you have to get like a really good vibrant one, but this one is doing the job for being kind of like a transition shade. But yeah, I don't mind it so far. So now with the Subculture palette, I'm going to go in with this color, which is Edge, and the brush I'm using is just an Essence eye blender brush. So I'm running into just a little bit of a problem, and it's not like a huge problem, but when I blended out the yellow on this side, it didn't kind of mess up the blue. It kind of just blended into itself, but this side it's kind of funky. I barely have anything on the palette, but like, do you see how it does that? Maybe I'm crazy, but it looks just a little weird, and it's kind of changing the color of that that second shade we used. But I'm still going to use it and just blend it out, and I'll probably just go back in with the other colors and touch those up. Now that that's all blended out, those three colors, you can tell that the right side of my face is starting to blend out and look equal to this side. So now they look, in my opinion, they look a lot more similar. I know it looks crazy, but we're going to cut the crease and it'll all look different soon. But right now I'm just gonna skip to cutting my crease. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how I cut my crease, I'm just gonna cut my crease on both sides really quick. So my creases are cut, and the next color I'm going to actually go in with is this color right here. Right here. And I only want it right here, and then I'm gonna blend the shimmer shade on the rest of the lid. But so far, this is just a little ashy, but it's not too bad. It's coming off deeper on camera, but it's actually pretty ashy. So I'm just packing the color on so we can get it true to color. And I'm just gonna go back in the first green shade we used and just blend that out as best we can. You don't want to add a lot of that product because you still want that like burgundy purple to come through, but we're just gonna add a little bit. The color that's similar to this, the color on the left side, is going to be this color, and it's called All Star. I'm going to use a flat brush again and just pack that on. Immediately I could tell that this one's going to be a lot more pigmented, because when I swiped my brush into that, a lot came off. Yeah, see, that's a one swipe kind of thing. I feel like a lot of these colors are similar. I just feel like the drugstore side is a little more ashier. It looks crazy, but this is more of like a packing on side. I'm packing it on, but you kind of get the color payoff. I'm going to try and use as many colors as possible. So the next color I'm going to use is this one right here. It's like a peachy orange, and I'm just going to pack that on right here. It's going to look crazy at first, but I'm going to add a shimmer over it. But I just feel like adding this color down and then the shimmer helps the burgundy blend out a little better. And since I'm running out of brushes, this side was the drugstore side, but I'm just gonna flip this brush over and use this color in the palette, in the high-end palette, and it's the Roxy color. Again, it's more of like a one swipe thing. The first time I applied it, it was just, I accidentally tapped off too much of the product, but once I went back in a little more, it all blended out. And I'm just going back in with that flat shader brush that I had this burgundy purple on, and just like letting those join. Alright, that shade, you can tell that it's more vibrant on this side. Now we're gonna go in with a cover. We're covering that and putting a shimmer shade on top of it. I'm gonna go in with this color right here, and I'm gonna pack that on to the lid. This shade is kind of really hard to work with. You gotta really dig into the palette and get the shade. And I'm going to use this color in the Subculture palette, which is called Electric. You can see immediately, just with that one swipe, you can get a lot more color payoff. And it just really comes through. I would say that this side's more of like a shimmery side, and this one actually has like a lot more glitter. I'm just gonna keep packing this color on. It might even work out better if I use my finger and then blend it out with the brush. Oh yeah, it's coming through a lot more now that I'm using my finger, and I'm just gonna tap that on, go still in with that brush, and just blend it out as best I can. I guess you could say this side has more of like a green yellow base for the shimmer, and this one's more of like a golden yellow. You can tell. But I'm just gonna go in one more time with all the colors and just make sure that everything's blended out perfectly. So I blended it out to my best ability. This is what it looks like so far. From afar, I feel like you can't really tell the difference between the two. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply eyeliner, lashes, and then do my full face, and then I'll be right back with my final thoughts. I just did my full face, so now I did the green and the yellow on the bottom, just to blend out my bottom lash line, but just using the same colors. And honestly, with lashes on, mascara on, everything blended out, you really can't tell the difference. Alright, so this is my finished look on this drugstore versus high-end palette. If I'm looking at myself in the mirror, honestly, the only difference that I can really see is just that this shimmer is more of like a green base and this one's more of like a yellow gold base. But other than that, it looks pretty similar. I'd say you have to put a little more work into this side just because you want to build up that pigment and give it its true color. But I felt like these blended out more nicely. Like, these blended out easier. These are harder to blend out, but they are vibrant. Before this video, I had this one and I spent my money on this one. But if I would have known that this was out there, I would have probably just bought this one. because it's a lot cheaper. This is only $7. I'm pretty sure it's $7. If I'm wrong, I'll put it down below. But this is only $7 and this is $42, and it's a lot. I feel like these shadows will last a lot longer than these just because of the fallout. I think I have only used this palette maybe 5 times and I've hit pan on 2 colors. It's a lot of fallout. Most Anastasia palettes do have a lot of fallout. I love their products, but they do have a lot of fallout. So I end up running out of the shadow a lot quicker than I would something like this. But I do recommend this for someone who's looking for a cheaper version of this. I know that Makeup Revolution has a cheaper version for the Modern Renaissance palette, which is another Anastasia palette that is very well known and everyone pretty much loves that palette. If you want, I could do a video using that one too. I was actually going to do a drugstore versus high-end with that palette, but they didn't have it when I went to look. So I ended up saying, well, I have the Subculture palette, I'll just use this. And I'm kind of glad I did this because this is a very, like, I guess you could say controversial palette. A lot of people don't like it, say the colors suck, and not that they suck, it's just hard to blend out, and then when you blend them out, the color kind of acts up and acts a little weird. But yes, all in all, I do recommend this palette, and if you want something like Subculture, I definitely get this. They didn't come out exactly alike. I mean, in the camera, it's probably showing that they're very similar, and honestly, the only big similar differences is the first green shade we used and that shimmer. I feel like you can, let me see, I'm gonna use a mirror, and I feel like you can kind of see the difference up close. Yeah, you can definitely see that this is more of a green tone base and this is more gold, but I swear if you were looking at me like this, you couldn't really tell. But if you haven't already, subscribe, like this video, and comment if you can really tell a difference or not. I actually went downstairs in the middle of filming this video and I went up to my husband and I was like, can you tell the difference? I was like, can you tell me which one you think is drugstore and high-end? And he actually said this one was high-end and this one was drugstore, which he was wrong. So I'm really curious to know which side you think turned out the best. And if not, if you think they look equal, then let me know. I wanted to try and use all the colors that I could possibly use in both palettes, just so I could give you like a really like rundown of all the colors and tell you if they work, if they're a dupe. I would say that it is a dupe. I mean, with Anastasia, for the price, you do get that deeper, vibrant, pigmented colors. If you don't mind just doing a lot of like blending and packing on color to get the vibrant colors, then definitely just stick with this one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I enjoyed filming it. If you have any more ideas of videos you would like to see, let me know down below. Thank you for watching.